Assalamualaikum, welcome to Tech World. Today I am giving you the introduction of TailwindCSS and how to use it in nextjs. Basically, TailwindCSS is utility first class of CSS. Utility first class framework for fast styling and no pre-designed component, just utility classes. Means in Tailwind CSS you can see built-in classes that you have to call it for styling your components and it will work. And in these classes on the back end there is implementing CSS cascading styling sheets. So the rules of styles is simply same as styling cascading styling sheets CSS. And it is highly customizable with configuration. Means you can also customize it when you need it in configuration file. So why use Tailwind CSS? For faster styling with pre-built utility classes. If you don't want to customize CSS and make each component with detail and style sheets like CSS, you can use Tailwind CSS. And now you don't need to write custom CSS. And Tailwind CSS to make a web page responsive and mobile friendly is easier because there are built-in classes like for a small screen use SM class, for larger screen use LG class, for medium screen size use MD class. It gives the specific range behind that make the style according to that screen size, like from 0 to 756. This is the range of some class or any other class that define the screen size, and you can work accordingly. And it is easier to customize with Tailwind config file. When you are working with Next.js and you don't mark yes when you're installing your or building or creating your Next.js project, so uh, and you find after some time that you want to use Tailwind CSS. So for that install Tailwind CSS and the command is npm install -d Tailwind CSS post CSS outer prefixer. Then initialize Tailwind CSS with npx Tailwind CSS init -b. In this command you are seeing npm and npx. npm is node package manager and npx is node package executable. Means npm is managing your packages and it is a manager. npx is executable, it is executable code and file that make your code execute on your terminal. Configure tailwind.config.js. You can configure tailwind.config.js by import tailwind in global.css. I have make you seeing global.css file previously where yours you have seen that there is the import of Tailwind CSS. Like that, import Tailwind in global docs. CSS. Using Tailwind in nextjs components. Means now you want to use Tailwind CSS in your component like you want to use in your button. So you can write this code in your button tag that class equals to bg blue 500 text white px4 eval 2. Here's something you can check that class is written here, but when we button tell this next is this is not a class keyword used. There we use class name. Commonly used Tailwind CSS classes. Layout and display, block, inline, block and hidden. Basically block elements are those that have separate block and each time they created in next line. But in inline block the elements are aligned in the same line. You can see div and span element is a block element by default and image tag text area button is inline block elements. When you use hidden class, so you can hide your element when you need it. What is flexbox and grid? Flex is the horizontal display of anything by default. When you make div class display flex, so the children of div is by default in raw. You can see one by one, but when you set it on flex raw flex column, so you can align it in one by one format. When you set flex column, then you see the elements in vertical align. Now talk about spacing in Tailwind CSS. Like M4 is an example of margin 4, and there is some sizing behind this 16 RAM or 8 RAM. P4 means you are giving the padding with 4. MX auto means you are assigning maximum range of your width and page. Like if you give max 4XL, so it does have certain width, and when you move to different screen it is automatically changing the width accordingly. Typography means when you want to style your text, like text LGS, making your text somehow larger than the default text. Font bold means you want to bold your text, and text center make your text in the center of the parent element, means make your text center align. Colors and backgrounds, you can see the example text that 500, make some color shade of 500 of your text. BG blue 500. And overcast is that when you hover on an element by your mouse cursor, it will change according to the class given in hover. Like BG green 600, make background green with 600 shade. Borders and shadows, you can also style borders and shadows. If you given border class and then set it to border 2, so it bold the border with 2 size. Shadow LG is like that. In Tailwind CSS, there is some specific range of shadow medium, shadow small, shadow LG, that give your component a specific range of shadow behind that. So how to customize your Tailwind CSS? By editing in tailwind.config.js file, you can customize your Tailwind CSS. You can add custom colors, fonts and spacing there. This is an example that if you want to set colors of primary and secondary, so you can use in your nextjs application. You can code like that and extend block. You can write colors block like colors colon and curly bracket open, then primary color is set to some custom blue color and secondary color is set to custom yellow color. So when you pass it in the button tag in your nextjs project like BG primary, so it is set to the primary color given in your Tailwind config file like custom blue. And when you set secondary color, so it will make it yellow. Conclusion is that Tailwind CSS is really a good styling utility first class, and you can style many things in faster way, and you can also customize it. For up till now, this is the introduction of Tailwind CSS, and now you can work in it in your next work with Tailwind CSS in your next year's projects. Thank you.